Hello guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're watching this video. My name is Bossman. If you are watching for the first time or if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly hit the button right now so that you can follow this channel or you can get notification and you wouldn't miss any of our videos. Thank you, and let's journey along today. Basically, I've been doing a series on relocation and my focus has been on Canada, like I said, because I live and work in Canada and it's been a great experience for me. I came with quite a number of challenges, but like I said, it's been a great time. And I always tell people when they come, the initial parts will always be challenging. I read somewhere that the first 2-3 years could be like a time that you need to stabilize, and after then, you start seeing the benefits. Like I said the last time, I'm sure we will be going through a number of things to look out for when you land. We'll be getting to that part at the point during this series. We'll be looking at things like finance, what you need to look for, banking, job, career, business, and a whole lot of things. And I will be doing it from my own personal experience. I try to do a lot of things since I moved here. I believe I have a lot of experience to share. The good thing is I've spoken to a number of friends who have agreed, to come on board at a point in time. I've spoken with a friend who is into business, into career, and is doing pretty well. I've spoken with a friend who came as a student, who is, willing to come on board as well. I've spoken with a friend who is on his way to landing, which means his experience will be fresh and will be able to download a lot of things for us. So like I said, if possible, drop your questions. People have reached out to me privately through various forums, and thank you for reaching out to me. All those things are a bunch of encouragement to me. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your word of encouragement. Someone reached out to me and said, what you said in the last video is actually what I've been looking for. So this is a whole lot of encouragement for me. So send in your questions, please. If there are questions that you need to be answered specifically, please send them to me. One thing I don't want to do with this video is to go academic. I can go online, bring out things and, start talking about step by step of what is online, of what you can see. No, I don't want to do that. I want to share experience. I want to point you to relevant areas where you can look for and things that you can look out for. So please send in your questions, type it in the comment box, and I will see as much as possible how I can help with those questions. I also want to say, like I said the last time, that I'm not an immigration consultant and I don't charge to do any of these services. Definitely I can link you up or recommend you to consultant as much as possible if you need to. But like I said, also I did mine by myself. I've got a couple of friends who are not using representative, and I believe everybody, can do this process on their own. So just to let you know, I'm not an immigration consultant and I'm not doing this for profit. It's just to, share the tips, share my experience, share what I know based on my experience, and hopefully it can also help you along the line. Like I said, it's just to, point you to the right direction. So once again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to follow me, and don't forget to send in your question. Today, I will just be starting with sharing a feedback from a friend. After my last video, we got chatting and I got to know that he has used about 2 consultants before now. They've charged him. And when I look at his situation, there are things they didn't uncover for him, and there are things that they told him to do, they were not right. So we look at his specific situation, we look at things that we can do better, and currently I've pointed him to something that I think could be of benefit for him, and we're exploring it. So you may ask, why am I doing this video? It's for people like that. It's for people like you who may be stuck at one point or the other, who may need help, who may have researched, but are not getting the right thing that they need, to move forward. So journey along with me if you are in that category. So once again, we are going back to what I said the last time: start. If you really want to do it, please start. You may want to ask, did I finish everything that I started? Or did everything that I started yield the desired result? I would say no, not everything. But the truth is that for everything that I've done, I've always learned from it, even if they don't yield desired results. And from things I've been able to achieve, it was because I started. 2-3 years back, I was discussing with some friends, and we were actually doing a study of one of the multimillionaires in the world, a young guy. I won't mention his name. But one thing we discovered in particular is that he has tried a lot of businesses. He has laid his hand on a lot of investments. Not all of them yielded the result, but he got to a point where he struck like a gold. That gold made him a multimillionaire. And now he can, divest into other areas. What am I saying? If he didn't start somewhere, he wouldn't get to where he is today. So, my message is start. Now, what are the options that we can look at? There are 2 options that I see with Canada. And the third option for Canada is, I would say, be wary of. The option of coming for visits and trying to stay back. It may be hard with Canada. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying that no people have done that. You may want to rule that out. The other 2 options are coming as a student or coming as a landed immigrant through what we call PR, permanent residency. I didn't come as a student, but what I promise you is to bring a friend who I also respect so much, who came as a student and who has been able to settle himself and his family and is doing very well. The other part is the immigration, which we'll be focusing on. A lot of people are aware of what we call express entry at the federal level, and they are what we call provincial nominee. Sometimes people know of one and they focus on one. And even at federal level, there are various things that you can explore. There's one that is specifically for skilled, workers overseas. There's one that is specific for trades. And there's one that is for people who are already living and working in Canada. And the interesting part is that whichever one you choose, you discover that what you need as test of English benchmark will be different. And there's also provincial nominee, which is specific to province. Even at provincial level, quite a number of provinces we have maybe for skilled workers overseas, skilled worker working in their province, and for people who are business owners who would like to come in and start their own business. And you could fall in any of these categories. And what I discovered is that A category might be easier for you than another one, and a province could be easier for you than the other one. And that's why I said in my last video, research will be very, very, very important. Like, I won't be going to nitty-gritty of how to apply for different provinces. If you need me to do that, I can definitely do that for you. But in my description, I left some links of different provinces that have their own immigration pathway. We have Alberta, they have their own. We have Manitoba. We have a place called Saskatchewan, and a bunch of other provinces, and we have at federal level as well. So you may decide to choose any of these or to explore any of these. I was actually researching a particular province, and I discovered that you don't even have to apply to that province directly. You just need to apply to federal, and when I saw the score that you need to get into that province is actually very low. But a number of people are not looking into that province. So, but I would say, if possible, research Alberta. Research Alberta. Maybe you've been struggling to go to a place like Manitoba or struggling to do federal. Check it up. Maybe it may be an opportunity for you to get one that is easier for you. And for some people, maybe because you know someone in Manitoba, you have a friend or things like that, or you have capital that you can start a business with, maybe Manitoba may be easy for you. Now, what are the things that you should look for before you even start? I will say one thing. How can I improve or get the best CRS? That would be more like the score that I need to be competitive in any of these provinces. What do I need to do? I think that would be the main question. And I look at it that three things could determine this or can help you to improve your score. One is your level of education. And the last time I talked about masters, if you have master's degree, it will give you additional points. And I said the last time as well, if you are planning to do it, if you are thinking, is it worth it? It may be actually worth it, if you give it a shot. So your degree is very important. And if you want to start for most province or from even federal, you will need to do what is called credential evaluation. Credential evaluation. And one of the main organizations that does this in Canada is called WES. So check that up. There's a link for them in the description. You can do your credential evaluation with them because it takes time, not because they will take time, but because based on experience, especially dealing with a lot of countries in Africa, it's always hard to get things out of there for them to verify. But because you need that, you may want to start with that. And I put their link. They are not the only one doing it. I put their link because I've used them in the past. I know that they are very effective. They don't pay me to do this, so you may want to check that out. So aside from your degrees, which I said having a master's or PhD can give you at the maximum points, another thing that you want to look at is the test of English. We can't run away from the test of English. We definitely have to do it. And the most common is IELTS. The minimum to, submit your profile in federal is to have, to make it simple, minimum of 6 across, the subjects. So if you're planning to do your IELTS, you may want to put that at the back of your mind. For some other provinces or for some other scheme, maybe it could be lower, but then you want to make yourself competitive. So what I would say is that push as much as possible. We can do a series on IELTS. I did it back then as well. In fact, I did it, twice because I had to use one for school when I was going to school. When I came back and I was doing immigration, I had to do, a general training. So I had, a little bit of experience with IELTS as well. But one thing that I noticed is this. Because we call it test of English, and because especially in Nigeria, our official language is English, we most of the time underrate IELTS. And that's why a lot of people who I know are very good with English struggle with IELTS. And you see someone who you think is struggling with English language going for IELTS and dusting it. The difference will be in how they prepare for this exam. So you don't need to look at it as something that you can walk over. Please give it all the attention that it needs. And one thing that I will also say is that as you are doing practice question, you may know where you have a little bit of weakness. You may want to focus on that, because you can have 9 in 3 of them. If you have 4, you can submit to federal, unfortunately. And someone that has 6 across the band, will be able to submit. So you need to look at that very well, because it can also determine if you get the maximum score or not, or if you improve your CRS or not. Now, you see someone that has maybe an average of 6 getting a particular mark. By the time he attempts it again, get 8, you could see significant jump in what he has as, score, which will be very helpful, to him in being selected. Because in most of these places where you are submitting your profile, you are submitting into a pool. And when they do their draw, they will pick based on the highest points. It wouldn't be like they look at the profile and say, oh, this profile is good. No. If a profile is not so good, but is able to get, go over the cutoff for that point, they will pick him or her over you. So you want to push your score as high as possible. The third one is also exploring where you may have family members or friends, that can support you. A place like Manitoba would be a good example, because the point that you have, the fact that you have someone will give you a significant additional point that you can push your score up. So those 3 things, you may want to consider them. And if you have them, I tell you, you're in a very good position to start. Aside that, another thing that I will ask you to take into consideration is what we call proof of funds. And when you check the website of Canada, I will try and have a link in the description as well. You will see what you need depending on your family composition. You may want to make arrangement for that, or think of how you are able to prove that. Even though these are not the only things that you need, for example, I know if you the experience that you have, your career, the job experience that you have, we also had, but those things I mentioned earlier, you can play around it, or you can use them, to actually boost your points. These are the things that you need to actually, first look out for. If you have not started, start working on them. And I tell you, you'll be surprised if you can get all these things or have a way of getting them. You are just close to fulfilling your dreams. Lastly, today, I would just be saying that after getting all these things, you need to start submitting your profile. And please, this is why I said you can do it on your own. I've seen cases where if someone submits like 6 months back, it could have been picked. But because it's waiting for, sometimes I don't know, sometimes because we get wrong information, sometimes we say, oh, I don't just want to, yeah, I want to get to this particular point or get, this level of confidence or get someone to ratify this, and we will wait without submitting. And then before you know it, the cutoff has increased. And I've seen a particular province like that. And I was reviewing an application that maybe if it was submitted like 6 months ago, it would have been picked. But now the cutoff has gone up. Day by day, people are trying to come in. Day by day, people, are submitting application. And we know the law of demand and supply, because so many people are applying, is pushing the requirement higher and higher. I will end this with this. I know a friend reached out to me a while ago and said, I'm doing very well here. You are over there. Do you think it makes sense for me to start or to even get this PR? Do you think I need it? I said, well, I may not be able to say if you need it or not. But get it first. When you get it, decide if you need it or not. I said it will be sad if at the point you discover that you need it, but you don't have it or you can't get it anymore. The rest is history. And someone asked me last week as well, and I gave the same response. So I will leave you with that. If you have opportunity to get something, why not get it? When you get it, you can decide if you need it or not. It will be bad or it will be sad if at the point when you need it, you discover that you can't get it anymore. In the next episode, I will make every effort to bring a guest online to talk about this subject, to share his experience, and see what you can pick from there. Thank you for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to send in your questions. Don't forget to send in what you will want me to discuss or to touch on. And like I said, we are just getting into the introduction. Just trying to give people tips, especially people who are willing to start their application or who are still thinking if they should or they should not. We will be getting into where we'll be discussing about career, about finance, about things to do here, about experience when you land. And that may give you maybe additional information on if you should make the journey or not. I wish you a wonderful time. I wish you a great season. Like I said, I know it's been a difficult time around the world, but we will get over this and the world will be better for it. Thank you and God bless.